like 10 minutes or so because we just haven't been on in a minute, and then I'm going to bring you in. I'm going to start with the book title, and then we'll just go from there.
Okay, I'll mute myself.
Okay.
Wyclef Jean, BKS1 Radio. Let's go.
This is Essence Atkins, and this is BKS1 Radio.
Hi, this is Melba Moore, and you're listening to BKS1 Radio.
Yo, check it out. What's the deal? This the chef. Giving a big shout out to my peoples. Big KS, you already know what it is. Salute.
What's up? It's your girl Monifa, and I'm hanging with BKS1 Radio.
Hi, I'm Ian Van Zan, and you're listening to BKS1 Radio.
BKS Radio, baby.
Hey, this is Jasmine Guy for BKS1 Radio.
What's going on? This is Lamont Rooker, and this is BKS1 Radio.
Shout out to BKS1, the best kept damn secret in the business.
Hey, what's up? This is Raven Goodwin from BET's Being Mary Jane, and shout out to BKS1.
Hi, this is Leon. You're watching BKS1 Radio.
BKS1. God bless y'all. Wyclef Jean.
BKS1 Radio, the Owl Show. It is your girl, Latoya Chanel. And of course, I'm sitting here with Miss Queen B, and we are going to get to our amazingly fabulous guest, who is not only a friend to the show, but a friend of ours as well. But we're going to get to her in a few minutes. I just want to catch up because life is happening. So we have not been online in a couple of weeks, B. I mean, you know, we talk every day, but, you know, our audience members here, unfortunately, don't get a chance to hear exactly what it is that's going on in our world. So I just want to catch up with you for a minute and, you know, say hello. What's happening with you? What's going on with you?
Everything, no real complaints, you know. Despite what's going on around us, no real complaints.
Yeah.
Really miss the show, miss talking, miss, you know, convening and bugging out with everyone and talking about these topics that we definitely need to talk about at this point. BKS1 is part of my sanity.
Right.
So we are talking, I'm missing you guys.
You know, I miss being in studio.
Yes.
I miss our studio nights.
Mm-hmm.
I miss the shows, but I also miss our conversations after the shows.
Right. Right.
You know, what our audience doesn't see is the behind the scenes conversations.
Absolutely.
And, I mean, it gets real on the show too, but you know, after the show, you know, is when things kind of trying to be politically correct on camera, you know, by the time you get off camera, you like, so this is what happened. This was this. You like, what?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And there's so many times we were in the studio till hours after our show was over. And then me and you get on the phone afterwards and then call each other on the way home or end up at a bar or end up eating chicken wings or something. I don't know.
There is definitely an after party at the after party.
Right. You know, and so I miss being in studio. I miss, you know, and I know a lot of shows have gone back to you know, the studio, but you know, with you being at such a distance and you know, it's just probably not the safest thing for us to do on this particular show right now.
It's, you know, it's alarming. It's really alarming what's going on now with the numbers increasing again. It almost makes you fearful.
Yeah.
Again. Yeah. So it's just, no, I'd rather be safe, you know, and it's crazy because I think we said this initially in the beginning. We are convening with people that we know, but the people that we know are the ones that have it and don't know it, you know? And we're like, I'm around.
What did we say? Black people think quarantining means only hang around people you know?
That you know. And it's like, no, you gotta definitely like quarantine from everything and everyone. So.
Yeah. Which, you know, it's very easy to get lax. I will admit that I have.
Me too.
Over the last month or so. I have definitely gotten more lax than I had been with the onset of this. But I think in the last month I've been like,
No, you know me. I'm paranoid now. I am more than paranoid. Now I'm like, no, I don't want to come to your house and I don't want you to come to mine,
right.
No.
Nope.
I honestly, because they did move the thing, I was like, oh, before August, I'll throw this cookout. Everybody will come. I changed my mind. It's a no for me.
Yeah,
It's a no for me.
getting dangerous. I mean, it's been dangerous. Because I don't want to minimize anything or sound, ignorant what I'm saying. It
Absolutely.
has been dangerous.
Absolutely.
I just feel like, like how we say almost on a weekly basis, like we're facing so many things right now. It's COVID, it's racial injustice, it's politics, it's whatever's going on.
A hurricane.
I mean, you guys can't even see out this window the tree that has fallen in my backyard, but it's a whole tree back there that at some point in time, that we are gonna have to deal with, So it's just like, come on, like it's the weather, it's the family, it's the friends, it's life, it's death, it's disease, it's finances, it's all over, it's all over the place. So it's just a lot right now for everybody. Unfortunately,
Yes.
but it's right now. The reason why I keep looking down is because I'm trying to share the show, and my Wi-Fi is acting crazy. So,
I thought I didn't pay my bill. Honestly, I was like, what? Wait, like I had called my daughter. Like, is your phone working?
Like right now, I am trying to share our show as we're doing it, from BKS1 Radio's page to my personal page,
right.
and it's just like, yeah, no, this is crazy. All right, I think maybe I don't. Okay, start a watch party. All right, I might be good now. But yeah, so it's all of it. But in the meantime, in the midst of all of that, how are you? How are you maintaining?
I'm maintaining no real. I just keep praying, just keep staying focused, staying positive, and that's basically all I can do. Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, I completely understand that. For me, this week was detox week for me. So I decided that with work being officially over, that now there was no time like the present for me to officially uh, detox and figure out what my next steps are. So,
Okay.
and not necessarily take the next steps, but just to refocus my frame of mind to see what it is I would even like to do. You know,
Absolutely. Okay.
just a refresh, a renewal, a restart for what are some of the possibilities? What is my headspace? What headspace am I in? Where do I want to go? So, um, detox in mind, just focusing spiritually, trying to, align my energy and vibrate higher, detox in my body. Shout out to my cousin Crystal, who has been helping me do that. I'm detoxing my body, shedding, excess, excess, God, additional weight. um,
Yes.
just studying and meditating on the word, watching some sermons and some messages that are poignant to me, and trying to meditate on those. Just been in prayer a lot. Not eating meat or anything this week, cutting out sugars and fats and everything this week. So just trying to detox mind, body, spirit, soul, all of it, because I feel like I'm in a place where I need it. Just a week. Just a week.
Sounds good. Sounds good to me.
Yeah, it's just a week, and I'll be back to drinking and cussing Saturday. I'll be back to drinking and cussing Saturday, just not today. today through Friday, Monday through Friday. So that's all. But in the meantime, what we definitely want to get into is our guest for the evening. So
Yes.
everybody who has watched our show over the years, or if you were friends of Queen Bees, or if you're friends of mine, you have watched us in pictures, on vacations, with our next guest. Um, she is an author. She is a motivational speaker. She works in politics. She is just a well-rounded Renaissance woman. She is
Yes.
self-made. She is completely ready to tackle this time period and keep moving and use this opportunity that we have now to keep moving forward. She's written a new book called Brilliant Resilience, Building Resilience for Success. Um, so everybody who is watching today, please help us welcome friend to the show, friend of ours, uh, friend in the literary world because we read all of your books, Miss Lena Cohen. Miss Lena Cohen Hawkins.
No, got a new last name.
Yes, Lena Cohen Hawkins. We can't leave that out. We cannot leave that out.
Thank you guys so much. I love coming to hang out with you guys.
Yes, of course, of course. We miss you when you're not here, Lena.
Yeah, we do.
It's always a pleasure. You guys always provide great content. You always have great conversations, always authentic. So I appreciate being here.
Thank you so much. Oh, that was sweet. That was very nice of you. Yes, your energy is contagious and it is amazing. So thank you for just even coming back to the show and thinking of us with the launch of your new book. So I want to get right into it because the title itself speaks volumes to where we are right now in the midst of the pandemic, where the world is, 2020 as a whole. So I want to get right into um, the title. Can you explain the title for us?
Yeah, I was just listening to you guys in the open, and people are like, how you been doing since COVID? And I'm like, COVID is one piece of it. We are dealing with grief, we are dealing with financial concerns, we're dealing with social justice, we're dealing with working at home, we're dealing with still having responsibilities, and just the breadth of the trauma that we're experiencing now, in the depression and the anxiety that I was experiencing really pushed me to get the book out. So the title, Brilliant Resilience, we all know that resilience is about bouncing back, right? But brilliant resilience is about moving forward. And when we look at brilliant, it has two definitions. One is the intellectual side, right? So when we look at resilience, what can we learn from this experience and what we're going through? What can we take from this in order to grow? What creative things can we expand our minds to create? If we've been wanting to start a business, if we've been wanting to do something, we have the time now to do it, some of us. So really, when we have a challenges in our life, it's really looking at it from an intellectual perspective, to try to grow from the experience. And then the second definition of brilliance is to shine, right? Is to illuminate. And I think when we can be intentional about how we deal with challenges, if we're going to move through it with grace, if we're going to move through it with gratitude, if we're going to move through it in a positive way and say, you know what, I'm not going to let this break me, then we have the opportunity to create impact around us, because we forget that our children are watching us, our families, our friends, colleagues, and oftentimes when they see us doing something like, if we can keep the owl show going and we can still get online regardless, there's a storm happening, the Wi-Fi ain't working, but you know what, we're gonna push through it and we're gonna continue to try to do our best. And when people see that, then you inspire other people. So that is in itself what brilliant resilience is really moving through challenges in a way where we look for the opportunity in the midst of the challenge.
So I'm noticing the titles of your chapters read as if they are a list of affirmations.
Yes. Yes.
which, with me from the life coach side of things, I'm like, this is, in any new client, I'm like, did you read Brilliant Resilient Money? Because you should probably do that as well while we go along the journey. I'm going to make that a step in the journey. But just chapter one, mimicking the title, I am resilient. I am resilient. Tell us a little bit about chapter one.
So chapter one is me really laying the foundation of the first time I really experienced resiliency in my life, because I think there's always this dichotomy of, are we built with resilience? Are we born with it, or do we grow it? Can we grow it? Can we get it if we don't have it? So I kind of just laid the foundation of why it's important to have it, and why it's important to have it in not just your professional life, but your personal life, and why the two are married together. Because we know if you're not happy in your personal life, that's going to spill over into your career. And if you're not happy and fulfilled in what you're doing in your career, that it transpires in our personal life, right?
Yeah.
So, that's why I hate when people use the term like work life balance, because sometimes you're at work more than you are with your family and your friends and in your personal life. So we have to have a sense of resiliency on both sides in order to be happy. But, the first chapter just discuss why it's important, especially from a mental health perspective and from a stress perspective, right? Because we don't realize that how stress shows up in our body physically, or how trauma, a lot of people don't know what depression or anxiety looks like, but it may show up in other areas of their life. It may show up in who they date. It may show up in what choices they make for themselves. It may show up in different areas. So, I talk about the importance of it, why we need it, why it's important to build it, and then I take you on a journey back to my childhood and the first time that I learned how to be resilient.
Wow. Okay. And
Mm-hmm.
that's important. That's important to do. A lot of us have trauma from childhood. A lot of us have, and sometimes we never address. You
Yeah.
know, we think we do, but we never address it. A lot of times, and I like the saying. I don't know if you guys saw the meme, but it says like if you don't handle whatever in your childhood, whatever, you'll bleed on people that didn't cut you. And that's really really important. Yeah, it's really really, I always think about that all the time. If you don't address those childhood things or those traumatic things, a lot of times I always tell people it comes back. It comes back to you, regardless of what age, what you begin to accomplish, or anything, it comes back to you. So I think that that's a good thing. That's very important, Lena.
Absolutely. I never heard that saying, but I'll be using it. I'm gonna
Okay.
I'll be using it. I'm gonna have to listen to that one.
I wanted to ask you because
Is she not? Are you not hearing her, Lena?
Oh yeah, no, I can't hear her.
No.
Yeah, why you went out?
No.
can you hear me now? You can hear
Yes.
me now?
Yes.
Okay. I told you guys, trees down, Wi-Fi going in and
Yes.
out. I'm a mess right now, so we might be a little spotty tonight. I do apologize to our audience, but I was saying I noticed a trend with a lot of speakers now eliminating the term balance.
Mm.
I'm noticing that is a new ideology to eliminate the idea of having a balance in our life. So when you were speaking on the term work life balance, how you weren't fond of that, can you just expound on that a little bit, because I'm hearing that a lot more often from a number of different people. My mentor said it in one of our last meetings. And while I'm writing it down, because I write down everything she said, I put a question mark by it. And I'm like, I need to hear more about this ideology of eliminating that.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean that's interesting. I don't know if I've necessarily. I try not to. I don't know. Flood content of like other life coaches and speakers and stuff like that. So it's interesting to hear that. I
Mm-hmm.
think for me, when we say balance, what does that mean, right? Does that mean that we're giving 50% of our time to here, or we're giving 50% of our time there? Does it mean that I am happy here and I'm happy here? Like, I don't, everybody takes that a different way. Like balance to me may not mean balance to you. Balance to me may be working 80 hours because I feel like I'm going to get the necessary finances that I need to take care of my family. Whereas though you may feel like I'm working 40 hours, I'm leaving at 5 o'clock because I need to be home for dinner. Right. So I think for one, is there a finite definition for what balance is to all of us, right? So when you say work life balance, how do I know that you're that Latoya is hearing what B is hearing?
Right.
Because it would be based on what your value is,
Yeah.
right? It
Yeah.
would be based on your value. And then secondarily, um, for me, I don't want quote unquote work life balance. I want life balance. Like I want my life to be full. I want my purpose. If I am in a career or a business, I want to be fulfilled in that just as much as I want to be filled at home. Because it means that because my purpose means that much to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, there's an interesting take on what balance is for everybody, which makes
Mm-hmm.
it difficult to say that you achieved balance, but you didn't achieve balance. Like what is that?
I agree with you. I totally agree with you because what my balance is doesn't look the same for you.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because we get a lot of emails daily at work and they always talk about work life balance. And like you said, my balance may not look the same as yours. And it may not look the same for me, you, and Latoya. You know what I mean? It may not look the same for so everyone's balance. And like, I mean, not that now that you brought it to fruition, um, it's like, is balance really I'm happy here and I'm happy there? Because there's always some area, right? There's always some area that we need to tweak, you
Right.
know?
Right.
There's always some area that is not, that we deem as not being balanced.
And at different times, right? So first of all, I love what I do. So I'm not ever, I don't ever feel like that my work is detrimental because I truly enjoy what I do. So then I really don't understand what work life balance is because I don't mind being on my computer until 10 o'clock if I'm doing something that I love. But also, there's there may be times where I need to focus on my business more. There may be times where I need to focus on my family more. There may be times where I need to focus on myself more. And I don't need that balance. I may not need to, address my business. Right now, the focus should be my family. If there is something going on in my family that I need to address, right? So then it also is dependent upon where you are in your life and what chapter
Absolutely.
you are in your life, right? There may be times where, you may have to work more, and that's to each individual.
And that could be the balance throughout the whole year. Like, it's just like, okay, for
Correct.
6 months I grind and I do whatever, and then for the next 6 months I'm working on my goals and the things that I need to do for me, my family, or whatever. So I totally agree with you. I never looked at it like that. I don't think I looked at it like, in that angle. um
I
I
think,
will say this: I am very, with the climate and the culture and everything like it is right now, with us being, with the pandemic arising and everything. I want to talk about um just, and I know, like we always say, like you just said, balance looks different for everybody.
mhm,
Achieving and accomplishments and everything still looks different for everybody as well. With the pandemic, I will tell you, and just to give you personally, I love being transparent. I just feel really stagnant right now,
yeah,
right? Like, and it is because there's not much to be done. Now, you, on your time, you wrote a book, like, and kudos to you. Kudos to you, because that is like, oh my God, like who does that, right? But for me, it's just like, what do you tell people that basically like just feels like, January came, we celebrated, we brought in the new year, March, the whole world changed for us, and then now we're looking and we're just literally getting up daily. If you're working from home, of course, getting up daily, sitting in front of the computer, doing what we need to do. And it's just mundane and everyday. It's just the course of the day. It's the rigmarole. It's just the whatever of the day. What would you tell,
Well, I was in that same situation. I was like, 2020 gonna be my best year.
It's a year of vision. Like,
I had all my speaking gigs lined up, honey, and then them people started calling. The conferences started ending. The stages were shut down, and I was like, oh, what I'm gonna do now? Okay, because the coin sister need these coins.
Yes.
What I would say to people right now who feel stagnant, who feel like, their whole life has stopped, I would say you have to tap back into that passion, right? And make it your intention to say, I'm going to come out of this better and not bitter, right? So if that is the intention, where do I want to be on the other end of this? Because there are so many opportunities out here right now. And I just got off of another call and we were talking about creating a plan. And I was like, listen, you could create a plan all you want and say X, Y, and Z, but you also have to be open minded enough to see what opportunities are right in front of you and try not to ignore different lanes of opportunities, because sometimes we get in our space and like, this is the only way,
the one zone,
and this is how I'm gonna get there, and then God come in and be like, okay, that's not what we're doing. So you have to also say, okay, what other things? Like for me, I have to switch my whole business model up because we're doing things virtually now. So where are the opportunities? These people out here that's doing marketing and sales funnels and all this kind of stuff, they making money. They're like, oh, I love this because more people online more than ever. So people are learning drop shipping. People are learning funnels. People are learning things that they never learned before because they are switching to a different means of operation. So I would say you have to be creative, tap back into your passion, find out what you're passionate about and the things that you enjoy, and then give yourself a schedule. Like for me, when it was time to write this book, I turned my phone off. I wasn't distracted. I got up in the morning, got my shower, got dressed, and I went to work as if I was going to work. And I did that for 10 days straight. And the only thing I did was got my little snacks, got my lunch, and I wrote. But I was battling the grief, I was battling the anxiety, and this book truly saved my life because I had something to look forward to. So what is it that you could do that you could look forward to?
That's key. That's key right there. Right.
Definitely. And I'm glad you said that because that leads us into chapter 2, because I'm going through all of these now. So
okay, well
we have 9. So listen, we got a full hour left.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
we have a full hour. All right, we're gonna get into it. We're about to get
That is but that's what we're doing. So I'm
all the tea tonight then.
Yes.
So we're talking about chapter 2. So chapter 2, and like I said, I love how each chapter reads as an affirmation. I mean, you can just go through that title page, just read it down, and so you know what? I receive all of this and keep it moving before you even read
I can say it every day.
So it's chapter 2. I am strong. I am strong. And you mentioned through COVID, everything that everybody has gone through, all of the opportunities that we feel like we missed out on, or the ones that we don't even know are available to us yet, the people dealing with grief, the people who are dealing with depression, the people who are just dealing with, because for most of us, even if it's not grief and depression, it's just one thing after another, So just dealing with so much at one time, just to say I am strong
Yeah.
And for those who are strong and are tired of being strong,
Yes.
Right.
you know,
Yes.
there's that too. So just give us a little of what chapter, because we're not giving everything away now.
I'm not gonna
We're
give
not
it
giving it
away, but
right.
I am strong is about reflecting on where you have come from. Sometimes we don't give ourselves enough credit. You have to look back on the things that you have already done. Sometimes when I work with women in executive coaching and they're feeling like they're stuck, I tell them write your bio, write your
Mm.
resume, and read it. Write it as if you are a PR agent and you trying to get yourself on Oprah. Okay, write your resume, write out your bio, get in front of the mirror and read it. You are already amazing. You are already gifted. You are already strong. You have done and overcome already so
Mm.
much. And sometimes we don't give ourselves enough credit to think that we can make it through something. And it's like, well, you done already been through this, and this. So I know that you have it in you to continue to push on and to continue to be strong. But like you said, sometimes you be like, I'm tired of being strong. Okay, when can I take a nap? When can I
Right.
be?
Right.
When can I relax? And in this chapter, I talk about working in the news industry, where I dealt with my first bout of depression, 5 deaths in 1 year, being in an abusive relationship, dropping out of school, and feeling like God has to have more for me. So I went back to school, moved to North Jersey, graduated, top of my class, plus my behind from the library to the newsroom.
Hmm.
And I lost a big promotion to a young lady, blonde hair, blue eyes, no degree, no experience, no awards like I had. And it really broke my spirit for a bit. And I had to remind myself who I was. I had to look at all of what I had done at the company, and I had to remind myself, like, you can't let other people define you. You know who you are, you know what you bring to the table. And I had to kind of get that resurgence back. But I was tired. I was tired of working there and coming in every day and having a smile on everybody's face, having to, having to beat a bigger person, knowing
Lena,
knowing I was
been there.
qualified. Knowing I was
Chanel's been there too.
qualified.
Been there, done that. Oh my goodness. And
Please don't
it's
get
so
me
funny.
started tonight.
It's so funny because you said losing promotions to you can lose yourself inside of when you look at someone else and you know that you're qualified, right? And you know you have all it takes and you'll give it and you'll do whatever and the promotion and everything, and they give it to someone else. Twice it happened to me, Lena. And I'm going to tell you that in my job setting, which, like you said, it affects if you lose interest or you lose yourself inside of whatever, because it's not who they say you are.
Right.
It is really who you tell yourself
Right.
you are.
Exactly. And that's
And I had to learn that. I had to learn that because it's like I'm always thinking for somebody else saying, listen, we all when you're smart, people tell you all the time, oh, you're smart, you're beautiful, you're this, you're that, and it's great. You're used to hearing that part, but when you go up against someone else and you're like, wait a minute, this is not the norm for me.
Right. Right.
You lose yourself inside of what they said, you know. So I agree. Oh God, I agree with you.
I had to take a step back. I had to, for those who they tired of being strong, you have to look at the situation too. Because sometimes if you're in a toxic situation or a toxic environment where you feel like you always fighting, then maybe you need to go ahead and throw the towel in
Exit.
that situation, walk away. And
Exit.
that's
Yeah.
what I did. I didn't see growth in that company, and I walked away to start my own business.
It's important for them, us not to allow them to define us.
Yes.
And I will say that I've gone through that, struggled through that for like the last 6 years. And I can't agree with you more. Like it's like aha moment you talking right now, because it's like that's exactly what happened to me. Chanel as well. Like we've and again, you got to remember, you're talking about 3 Black females, so it's already extremely hard for us. Our reactions are, fine tooth combed. Our everything is fine tooth comb for us. Everything is heightened for us. Our reaction to anything, in within the climate of any company. So that's just hard within it. That's a whole nother show within itself.
But I say in the chapter, with each challenge that we experience, we get stronger and stronger. It's like a muscle, right? You break the muscle down, but then you build it back up. But every time you put more weight on the muscle, you want to put more weights on the rack, you're tearing the muscle down. But that's the only way to make it bigger. That's the only way to make it stronger, right?
Mm-hmm.
So each challenge, although it may come with difficulties or stress, it makes you stronger and it prepares you for the next chapter in your life.
Wow.
Okay. All right. And then all right. Okay. All right. Chapter 3. I am transformed. I am transformed. Which it's funny because at the beginning of COVID, it seemed that most memes and everything that everybody was talking about on social media is on the other side of COVID. You better make sure you did this or you did that or you did this or you did that. How about just maintain?
Yeah.
Maintain right now. Maintain. And if you have the capacity, to do something else, then okay. But we not going to ridicule you if you're not.
But everybody's transformation looks different, right? So transformation could be healing during this time.
Mm-hmm.
Transformation could be forgiveness. Transformation can be like myself actually grieving and moving towards gratitude, right? Transformation is all about what's going on up here in your mind. And that's what this chapter is about mindset transformation and how we perceive things and how we look at things, and then how we utilize that information to make ourselves better. So I'm glad you brought that up because there's a lot of pressure. And I'm like, we are experiencing trauma here. So if you don't, if you don't accomplish everything that you put on your vision board for 2020, it's okay.
It's okay.
This is a traumatic experience. If you didn't believe in therapy and you are now doing virtual therapy, that's a transformation.
Wow.
You got to tell where you get it.
I think for me, when I look at this chapter and it talks about the mindset transformation, I always think of the scripture where you are transformed with the renewal of your mind. And that's always and to me, kind of like if you get the head in order, everything else follows. So that's important. That to me is very important. Like you said, there are times when we are alone. There are times when we are here and literally your mind either plays tricks on you, can work against you. And if you do not strengthen your mind, if you do not take that time to be alone just to manifest certain things in your mind, with your thoughts, and how about this? Just a renewal of your thoughts. Because you can't keep thinking the same thing over and over again either.
Yeah.
That in itself is, torture,
Something today about, and this was the first time I heard this in regards to affirmations, that for every negative thought that you have, like once you're conscious enough to catch the negative thought, that you need 5 positive affirmations to wash it away. And we really have to start normalizing. If you can go to the doctor for your physical body, you can go to the doctor for your mind. We have to realize that we have a doctor for everything.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you feel like you need a doctor for your brain, for your mind, to heal? People don't realize that when we are experience trauma and negative thought and negative emotions, our body secretes certain what's the word I'm looking for? Hormones.
Hormones, yes. I wanted to name the hormone because I know it's one particular one. Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the latter.
It's one particular one. Yes.
And when you're doing that every day, your body almost adjusts to it, and then it becomes used to it and then it almost craves it. So you ever see those people who they really do seek drama. They really
They're addicted to negativity
and thrive off of it.
They are more comfortable in a situation that is uncomfortable because their body is so used to being in that mind space that that's more comfortable for them.
Yeah.
So
if it ain't wrong, it ain't right.
so we have to normalize the transformation of the mind, growth of the mind, healing of the mind, maintenance of the mind, and not I think it's happening though. I feel like mental health has had a big voice over the last few years, but I would encourage everybody to still, because people are receiving trauma right now that they're not even picking up.
Mm-hmm.
It's like internal, it's subconscious, and it's going to show up in other areas of your life if you don't really address it.
I totally agree with you. And cortisol is one of the stress hormones that we're increased. I had to think. I was like, you know what? I know this. I do. I'm a nurse. But one of the increases is that so you'll see a lot of people and I tell you, when somebody gains weight, you got to be really really careful of thinking it's just the fact that they are just gaining weight because of their overeating or whatever. When you increase your stress level, there is a weight gain that takes place that you cannot control. Literally, you'll be like, I didn't eat anything different, so there is a weight increase that happens, and we don't really pay attention to it. I want to ask you, Lena, do you think that the mental health thing is basically a stigma? I just wanted you to kind of go into that for our culture, for our
Absolutely.
Okay.
When we hear therapists, we hear crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where that came from. Like, I don't know what the onset of that was, that just because you want to see a therapist, you automatically consider the person crazy, you know? But I hear that a lot, like, oh, I'm not crazy.
I think it's so disheartening because I tell people all the time, like you said, and I go in depth with, you got a heart problem, they give you heart medication. You have diabetes, they give you glucose, you see a doctor for that. If you have anxiety, depression, which is totally real, it's life stuff. Life stuff happens and you get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
That is a natural thing. You're human.
Yeah.
And like you said, it looks different in everyone. It looks different.
And I think too, we also have to just get educated on like just making it more human, right? Like I have a client now, and she was saying how she has anxiety, and we have to normalize our daily life activities that bring us happiness and joy, right? Because meditation is not going to work for everybody.
Right.
Yoga is not going to work for everybody. Journaling is not going to work for everybody. Those type of things that we associate with like
wellness
does not work for everybody. However, guess what? If I'm having a bad day, I love to get in my car, roll down my windows, open a sunroof, blast some music, and just take a ride, right?
That's
and
me.
that for me is therapeutic. If I come home, I love to cook. So providing my family with a home cooked meal, and my husband is like, this is good. Like that feels good to me. That brings me joy. Running is my thing. I could be out on the track sometime. I have my headphones in and I'll be just running, running, running. So it doesn't always look like what you think it looks like. But if you don't give it the opportunity to at least go and sit with somebody to find out what things bring you happiness, what things bring you joy, and how you can create a daily life routine that instills that happiness and decreases the stress and the anxiety, then you're just going to sit in it.
Absolutely. I'm going to tell you, I am one of the people that meditation does not work for me, because when I tell you, my mind cannot shut off. I am always thinking, to a point where I will wake up out my sleep and think. You understand? I will do whatever. So me, let me tell you, I be near, they be like, sit, quiet time. Okay, it starts off like that, but I'll be like, I'm not cooking a day for, like, I start thinking everything. So meditation, like you said, meditation doesn't work for me. Yoga, Me and Chanel tried that together. Yoga is not
She's
really
saying
great.
no. She's shaking her head no.
It's not good for
You
me.
know why? Because the entire time that we're in yoga, because I was actually doing yoga, on a weekly basis. She decided she wanted to do it for her birthday. And the entire time that we're in yoga class, she's talking to me. And I'm like, stop talking to me. We are centering. We are renewing. We are finding our chi. We're doing all that. And she's like, did your little brick move? Because mine did. I don't know. And I'm like, girl.
Lena, no, but I am a writer. I love writing and poetry. That is my creative side, right?
Yeah.
That's my creative side. I don't mind doing that. I love reading. I'm a reader. I love reading, right? So those three things for me. But when it comes to just shutting off and shutting down, like music is healing to me. I listen to music in the shower. I listen to music. I will sit in my car, like you said. I will sit in my car and just literally sit there and just listen to music and be. And guess what? And you would have thought I went to a therapy class because when I come in the house, I'm like, hey,
you
but
have to find what works for you and what works for your mind and what works for you as an individual. You know, you have to, especially with everything that's going on right now, people have to learn how to do a brain dump. Like, get it out, get it, get it talking, whether it's like you said, if it's writing, if it's music, if it's just talking to somebody that you know, like, and trust, do that.
Yeah. Okay. So that's a great outlet. I like that.
Definitely. All right. 4. Chapter 4. I am conscious.
Oh.
I am where so many of us are not. But
not aware.
This was an extremely difficult chapter.
Okay.
I had to sit down with my husband and have a very candid conversation because, as I said, I let my friends and family pick the circumstances and situations that they saw me go through and how it inspired them, how the brilliance of the resilience shined on them. And my girlfriend picked my stepson coming to live with us full time. And that almost broke my relationship with my husband. We were engaged. 3 months after we were engaged, my husband, we got full custody of his son, and he lived with us full time. And it was a very difficult and traumatic transition for all of us. And I didn't know who I was as a stepmother. I didn't know who I wanted to be or who I was as a wife because I've never been married before. So I was a fiance, but I didn't know what it meant to be a wife. And I didn't know how to navigate in a family that was already formed before me. So while I was pointing the finger at everybody else, wanting everybody else to change, wanting everybody else to be the bigger person, wanting everybody else to be mature, wanting everybody else to quit the drama, wanting everybody else to change, I had to look at myself in the mirror and say, what energy am I bringing to this situation? How are my actions and choices healing this family? Who am I to leave my husband, this man that I say I want to marry? Who would I be to leave him at this time? And I had to really get conscious of who I was, what I wanted, and where I was going. And I always tell people, you have to ask yourself, do my actions, decisions, and choices align with the person that I want to be? Because the actions, choices, and decisions that I'm making right here, right now, today are a direct reflection of who I was yesterday. It's built up of all the experiences and knowledge that I had from my past. So we have to be able to tap into the person that's who we want to be and say, if this is the wife that I aspire to be, how would she act?
And how do I get there?
And how do I get there? So I had to make conscious decisions that were based on my intention that I felt like would be better for my family. And I think we all have moments where we need
Of course.
you
Of
know,
course.
where we need to be more conscious about what energy we're bringing to a situation. And sometimes we fail to look at ourselves in the mirror to see our part and our doing in a situation.
I think it's important, as you say, we want everyone to change around us because it's so easy for us to look at everyone else involved in anything and point the finger and look and be like, you need to do this and you need to do that. And the whole time you're sitting, you sipping mimosas, doing whatever, and being like, y'all the ones. But really, it's a really hard thing to really look at you, right? So
Yeah.
the mirror thing where you look back at, everything reflects on you and everything. I've always been, and then it's kind of what me and Chanel say all the time. We have this model where throw out what you know. Throw
Yep.
out everything you know. Throw out every single thing you think you know, right?
Yep.
Because sometimes it's great to talk to your friends, but even throw out what they tell you and what they define everything as. Because again, you have to tailor make your situation. You know what I mean? And what you tailor making your situation, you have to get rid of everything else and really define you as a step parent, you
Yeah.
as a wife, you as everything. I went through all of that. So
Yeah.
I like literally when I tell you, like, and again the ideas that we have about when we're little girls, because how we're going to get married and we're going to do this, and and all the fairy tales,
He's so
all of the fairy
perfect.
tales.
And I
Yes.
love this chapter because it also, a lot of people see us and they just think like our lives are so perfect and we're such a power couple and everything and we're so successful. And I'm like, we got baby mama drama and everything else too. And we got baggage and I'm not perfect either. And, that chapter taught me and that whole situation taught me that I had to change my perspective, right? Like we all have the opportunity to step back from a situation and view it with a non-biased viewpoint and then decide to then decide to make our decisions on choices,
Okay.
so I'm just like, we are human beings, and for me, I grew more in that experience.
Yeah.
I've always had respect for mothers, but that was like becoming a stepmother overnight. Like I was like, oh my gosh, it was like so much. And
that's a new role in itself. I'm gonna be honest
of
with
course
you,
it is.
having no children at all. Like
Yeah.
that's something to step. You look, you went to sleep and woke up and you like, oh, wait a minute, that. And it's funny because my brother's wife did that same exact thing with my brother's son. So it was the level of difficulty and just transitioning into that.
Yeah.
And how about you? You normally have to take care of you. So now it is, I have to not only be a wife, or you were the fiance at the time, but you were, going to be the wife, of course, but you have to be a mother too. And not to someone that's little, not to someone that you could kind of mold or whatever, somebody that is already who
Yep.
they are. Yeah.
And it made, and it really changed our relationship because, just the level of affection and everything, like we made a conscious decision to take the focus, not even to take the focus off our relationship, but to put the focus on him so that he could have a smoother transition and make sure that he was okay and everything. And as we did that, we took the focus off our relationship. So then our relationship started to deteriorate and we weren't focused on like each other, and we had to again make a conscious effort to say, okay, how do we build this family? Let's take a step back. What do we need so that everybody can find some sort of happiness and peace in the household? So yeah, that chapter, that's y'all gonna like that chapter. That's
I can't wait. Yeah, I
still
can't
in that chapter.
You know, honestly, I feel like that is a very important chapter because, like you said, speaking on blended families. And B and I talk about on the show all the time how being with COVID and now being with family more. and getting to know people more, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And just finding your way and finding who you are in a family dynamic, especially for new families who are just coming together, or new relationships that were just coming together. When COVID started, it's like you got to get a crash course
They
in
had
this.
to learn a crash course.
So
Yes,
I
sir.
mean, like I said, recognizing who you are, recognizing your flaws, recognizing all of that. I mean, is I'm just ready to read the book. I'm on my
Me
detox
too.
this
Me
week.
too.
I'm hoping it comes in the mail by tomorrow because I will be sitting out on my deck reading.
Yes.
Um, so chapter five. I am faithful.
Okay.
I am faithful.
Yes. So I am faithful, and this I think is a very important one for people right now who cannot go to church. They cannot, um, worship together. They cannot come together and commune. This chapter was about my faith journey. I grew up in a Pentecostal household, so
Girl,
very
that's a
strict,
whole nother culture.
very, very, very strict. I later on got baptized in a Baptist church because I was like, this too much. I need something like maybe one notch down from this. And obviously you grow older, you want more freedom. And then as an adult, I really talk about how religion was not sustainable for me, that I needed something deeper. I needed something more sustainable. And I describe it in the book as religion being icing and spirituality being cake.
Mm.
Where spirituality, you can have a slice of cake without icing and you'll be fulfilled. Yes, it's better with icing, right? So with church and with music and with people and with all of this religion on the outside is how we determine what religion we in, right? The things that people can see externally. I know what day you pray, I know what time you pray, I know how you pray, and whom you pray to. That's external, right? But what's internal? And I talk about the journey of discovering uh, who I was and my connection to God on a deeper level, and truly manifesting the desires of my heart through understanding that I am the physical representation of God and that we all are. And when we truly start tapping into that internal inside, that incredible things can happen.
I agree. I agree. We never know the power that we have. We don't. We take for granted the power that we have.
Yes.
So I totally agree with you. Pentecostal. I'm laughing because I totally understand. I do. I also, the other side of me is Muslim, hence the name Basima.
Mm-hmm.
So, so I know that aspect too, and so I take the best of both of those worlds. A lot of people don't do it. I like for me, I love just the standard of a true, I will say true Muslim, because there are some foggy things and some things where people literally like abuse it, the religion or whatever you want to call it. But I will say that it is a beautiful religion if
it really
if
is.
if you follow it. So
Yeah. I
I
have
do
people, I have friends that are Muslim, that are Buddhist, that are Catholic. I always say I take the greatest things from all of those things.
Absolutely.
That made me a better Christian. And we can't begin to tackle those things that we talked about earlier in wanting to achieve a certain level of greatness or the next level, or getting out of COVID sane, unless we have the faith to do so.
Yeah.
Everything starts with believing in the unseen, believing in something that you can't, that's not tangible, that's not here yet, that you can't see yet. If
Yeah.
you don't have the faith to be able to say, you know what? like for me, I already declared 2020 is still gonna be my best year. I got a number one best-selling book. I just closed on a new house. Me and my husband ain't kill each other, working in the same space. Like we all right, okay?
Okay.
But you have to be able to see it first, and believing in the unseen is having that faith. So it's looking mighty dark now, and it did for me in those times in April and May. But I declared that I believe that joy still cometh in the morning.
Right.
There's still something on the other side. There's always a light at the other end of the tunnel, and you have to start there. Faith gives you the ability to go out and start a business, start your radio show, start a family or whatever it is that you want to do. You have to believe in it first.
Yeah.
And that's key. That's definitely key. I like that. A lot of people, have lost faith with the pandemic and everything. They have lost faith because, like, you said earlier, people are grieving, people are losing people are losing jobs, people are losing, just all of whatever. I always think of faith as being like your insurance. It's almost like you know what, I'm a believe, you know, that it'll happen. And you know what I'm saying? And I just, for me, I always say I have this crazy belief that it will happen. It just will happen. So that's my insurance. That is my, you know what? I'm going, like, a lot of other people say manifest, or, I think it's so, so much or whatever. You guys have read what is that book called? Everybody reads come on, somebody.
The Secret.
The Secret.
The
Secret.
Okay.
Yes. So all of those, a lot of people read those, and it's basically what us believing that we can accomplish something by doing it ourselves.
Yeah.
So but it's to some nation it's faith. It's really faith.
It's all the same thing. It's different languages. Like love is love, right? Love is a feeling, but there's so many words that we can use that describe love, and so many different languages that we could use to say the same thing. And that's what faith is. There are a lot of different walks and ways and paths to get there.
Mm-hmm.
But when you believe and you listen internally, when you connect the mind, body, soul, when you connect your thoughts, your actions, and your emotions, when you have the Trinity, God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit, all of those things are the same. It's just different ways of seeing it.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and for people who are out there that feel like, this is the worst time in your life, this is it, that's okay. But guess what? What do you want it to be? Are you declaring today that this is going to be the worst day and tomorrow is going to be better?
Mm-hmm.
And the next day is going to be better, and the next month and next, like you have to have some part of you. It doesn't have to be huge. The Bible says all you need is the faith of a mustard seed.
Mustard seed, which is so tiny.
So tiny.
It's right here because I keep it on my desk in my office.
Oh, look at that.
This is how much I keep it right on the desk in my office. This is a mustard seed. This is how much you gotta have right here.
That's all you need.
I like that.
That's it. All right, all right. Well, first and foremost, if you're just tuning in to BKS1 Radio to the Owl Show, it's your girl Chanel, of course, here on Tuesday nights from 7 to 8:30 with Miss Queen B, and our guest is the amazingly fabulous Miss Lena Cohen, Miss Lena Cohen Hawkins. Ah, my gosh, Lena Cohen Hawkins, who is here, and we are discussing her book. We're not giving too much away, but we are just discussing her latest book because you are a
right.
not just a one-time author. So again, we're talking about your resume and what you have done already, so we're not going to leave that out. But her latest book, Brilliant Resilience, Building Resilience for Success. So we're just discussing chapter by chapter, and we are on chapter 6 right now. We got about 20 minutes left to go of the show, and I want to make sure we get chapter 9 before we're gone, and then tell everybody how they can get the book at the end of the interview. So chapter 6, I am self-aware.
Yeah, self-awareness.
Self-aware, yes.
We spoke a little bit about that earlier, so I won't go into depth, but just being able to know yourself, know who you are, and acknowledge what's happening in your life, right? We can't heal what we don't reveal. So we have to be able to tell the truth to ourselves first in order to move forward. And in this particular chapter, I talk about protecting our seeds, so
Yes.
our dreams, and really how every seed has a covering, a seed,
Wow.
and how it is our jobs to protect our seed and to plant it appropriately and to give it the right environment. And how we have people who will overwater our seeds, and they will drown us.
Yes.
And how if you put a seed in a small space, it will create insufficient produce because it needs space to grow. It needs room to stretch. It
Yeah.
needs the right environment, needs the right space. We talked about that earlier, being in toxic situations or in situations, might even be your environment, might be where you're living, might be your job, right? And how the sunshine, right? So our friends and family and our loved ones that give us sunshine, how, we need those people in our lives, but not to get a big head and not to just, let people blow smoke up your behind, but to receive it in a way that is where you're grateful. Um, so yeah, so that chapter is me talking about my journey in protecting the things that were most important to me and understanding that everybody can't go and everybody is not understanding how I receive people's uh energy. And I know for me how I receive certain people's energy. So I have to create protection around the things that I feel are important. But if you're not self-aware enough to really know who you are, what your lane is, how you achieve success, what your methodology is for success, you won't be able to protect those things. So that's what that chapter is about.
Right.
Um, Very important to a great deal of people. Like you said, toxic environments, not just work. We talked about work in depth, but there's a lot of times when your environment is your family, your toxic environment is your family. And there is sometimes we have codependence, you
Yes.
know, on certain family members or certain things or people or whatever. And what we accrue a lot of things to is we accrue everything, but that's family. We always put that but that's family. And there are a lot of times that we need to recognize that sometimes family can be a hindrance to where you're going. And
Right.
sometimes friendships can be a hindrance to where you're going. Like you said, everybody can't go. I am a firm believer in that, because one prayer that I always pray is, and I never pray it, Chanel knows this, I never pray this unless I know, because God quickly moves. So when I pray the prayer, it's almost scary, because I'd be like,
careful what you ask for, right?
I'd be like, all right, God, but one of my prayers is always when I'm seeking elevation, when I'm seeking just something new or just the clearing out of my spaces, I always say, God, whatever is not for me, I need you to remove it. When I tell you, there is not a time. I remember going to church one day and coming home and being like, God, is this? I just said this in church, and you're just clearing everybody out. So I never pray that prayer, but it's very important that we understand that we need to be around people that are watering our seeds, our seeds, our seeds. We are watering our own, but we also need people to pour into us. We also need people to, because the thing is that, and Chanel knows this too, everybody can't speak life into me. You cannot. Everybody, I have that type of persona or whatever where you can say whatever and I'll be like, oh, okay, I didn't feel it at all. No. I didn't know. No, it's not there. No, because I have that. I can see inside you. I can literally look and be like, no, that's not it. Everybody can't pray for me. Not that you can't pray and say, whatever, but everybody can't pray with me when I'm going through something. There's a certain people that can get me through. You know what I mean? And get me to the other side. So it's very important, like you said, it's very important for us to realize what's around us.
Yeah.
What's around us, to remove the toxicity in our lives, to recognize that it's toxic. And how about I'm talking about everybody else, but why do we think that we need to thrive in this toxic area? Like, and we ourselves sometimes can be toxic to ourselves.
Right.
Overachieving
Let's
and
just be
wanting to
real.
fix everything and wanting to do everything and wanting to prove and having pride and all of that. But in the book I talk about people taking the same test over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like if you're presented with a test or a challenge, or you presented with some information, receive it and then say, okay, is this a growth area? What do I need to change? And then do the necessary work and then move forward. Don't keep taking the same test over and over and over and over
Yeah.
again.
Right.
Yeah. The Scantron is the same.
Be self-aware enough to say these are my strength areas and these are my growth areas. Okay, these things I need to work on because I've been tested X, Y, and Z this many times, and every time this come back around, I'm making the same decisions, I'm making the same choices, I'm doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Can we start realizing that the test is the same? Like we've been here before.
Every
Like,
time.
We've been here.
why do people not realize that?
Every time.
Been here before.
Every time. Number 7. I am persistent.
Oh, persistent. Listen, it might not happen on the first try.
Mm-hmm.
Might not happen on the second try. Might not happen on the third try. Might not happen on the fourth try. But the key to success is never giving up.
Yeah.
You just have to continue to find ways to push through, to keep going, to keep moving, to stay motivated, and to continue to strive. This is a difficult time that we're in. So, getting up every single day and saying, you know what, this is a new day. Thank you, Lord, for another day. I am alive. We have taken for granted uh, being alive. We have taken for granted having a roof over our head. We have taken for granted the fact that we have jobs and we can work from home. We have taken advantage of. We have taken for granted all of that. I work for the state, as Dan said. So I'm hearing stories of people trying to get their unemployment and have, had to wait 6, 8, 12 weeks to get their unemployment. Okay. So I'm hearing all of the stories of people who literally cannot and don't have food for their children or who are literally, can't pay their rent. So, you know, when we think about the opportunities that we do have to get up and have another day, where we have a roof over our head and we have food on our table and we have breath in our lungs,
Yeah.
like that is a blessing.
Yeah.
So go ahead out here and keep striving and keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
I, I,
Definitely.
I totally agree. Like you said, me and Chanel talked about this too, but the unemployment thing. A lot of people are so against the people that are having the 600, the extra 600. They're like, bank that, just that and other. I need like just an FYI, the base pay for unemployment is not the same as someone's pay. Their pay is not the same. So you're already getting shortchanged because again, what is it? 60% of your income or whatever like that. The maximum is what? Is not that much. So that extra 600 sometimes is not even what the person makes on their job,
Yeah.
and like you said, there are people that literally have not got through. So when they did get through, guess what? Everything's behind already. And they're literally trying to catch up. So it's very important. I totally agree with you. It's very important to be persistent in this time in spite of it looks really crazy out. It really does. And it's very hard to find the silver lining
Yeah.
in anything right now. I'm gonna be honest. In anything right now, it's really hard to find the silver lining. Do I search for it? Of course I do. Of course I do. And I do believe that we'll all see a silver lining at some point. We'll understand what this all was about. We'll understand why we had to go through this. We'll understand just whatever the outcome is for it all. I think we'll all understand it soon.
Just keep on pushing. Just keep on pushing.
Just keep pushing.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I like that.
Yeah, no, yeah. Persistence is what's going to get us on the other side of this.
Mm-hmm.
Mentally, emotionally, for some of us physically. Persistence is what's going to get us on the other side of COVID. Like you said, you still believe that 2020 is going to be your.
That's a word in itself.
Yes.
Her Wi-Fi again. You're talking. Can't hear you.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes,
there we go.
You're back.
Okay. See, that's persistence. I'm going to keep pressing through,
you
even though this tree is down and this Wi-Fi is messing me up. But I was saying, persistence is what's going to get you to your goals. Those same goals that you had on December 31st, 2019. Before 2020 and all of the foolishness hit. How you're going to reach those goals is going to be persistent. So I'm all with you with that. Number 8, I am not alone. I am not alone.
You guys are not alone. We are all going through this together. We are all experiencing things that we've never experienced before. And I think about all of the times that I went through in the book up into that chapter, all of the difficulty, all of the tragedy, all of the death, all of the disappointment, all of the opportunities that I felt were lost, and I always felt like I was alone. But this chapter, I went back and I looked at how God put or place someone in my life right at the right time, right at the right moment to give me that support or to give me that vote of confidence or to, uh, show me how amazing I was or to catch my tears or just be there or just listen to me when I needed to vocalize my pain. And I think sometimes when we're in the midst of it, we can't see those people and
most times
we can't see how amazing they are and we can't see the olive branches that they're giving. We can't see that they're reaching out to us. We can't see it because we're in the midst of it, right? And this chapter was a real reflection for me to not only acknowledge the people who have been a part of my growing experience, but to let people know that no matter what you're going through, you're not alone. And no matter what, you have God, to really tap into whatever that faith is that you have and build on it. Again, we said all you need is a little bit, but to be able to drop your pride and to reach out, and say you need help if you need help. There were a lot of times where I went through so many different things, homelessness and just like, it times where people popped up, like when I was coming up here and I was going to college, it was my last semester and I didn't have housing and I was still commuting from South Jersey and taking 3-hour train rides and all that. And this lady came up to me and she was like, Lena, can I ask you a personal question? And I was like, I knew her from class, but I didn't know her personally. And she was like, baby, you come and you always look so nice and your hair's always done and you wake up and you always look so cute. And she was like, the last couple of weeks you've been looking a little disheveled. Are you okay? And I told her what was going on, and she was a minister, and she was like, I was supposed to get a foreign exchange student this year, and they're not coming. And she was like, I have a 3rd floor apartment to my home, and you're more than welcome to stay if you want. You can come meet my family or whatever. It's private, and I'll be happy to have you. Wow. Now, if I would have been like, oh, I'm fine, I'm just stressed. But sometimes people can't help us because we're not vocalizing what the problems or the issues are. So, don't be afraid to drop your pride a little bit and vocalize your needs.
I think we need to, especially as women, right? I will say we totally need to really break that type of cycle where we don't ask for help. We make the appearance of everything. And I know I was raised like this. So everything has to be the appearance of everything, on the outside has to look like we're put together. It has to look like there's nothing wrong with us. It has to look like you can't have no tears, no fears, no nothing. Everything has to look on the outside looks presentable and whatever and unscathed and untouched and everything is just everything. I think we need to drop that. We need to drop that. There are so many times, Lena, I can tell you in myself that I needed help and would not ask for it from my own friends because of that whole thing where I have to appear to be strong. I have to not let my pride down. I can't tell somebody that I need help, but there is always somebody that will get you to the next level that God will actually put in your path, your journey, whatever you want to call it, your zone. But if you keep having tunnel vision, you'll never see that. Like you said, people are extending olive branches, and you're like, no, I'm okay, thank you. I'm okay. And that is not how we get to the next level. Yeah. That is not, like you said, even in your words, like, is to guide you, to love you. Some of us need that extra love because we didn't receive that. Some of us need guidance and that, it's so crazy because, just minor things as somebody telling you, I didn't get that as a child. I love you. That was just far and in between. But can you imagine that you have people in your life that you get off the phone with and your friends are like, all right, I love you, talk to you later. And it's like, God, you never think about that. But it's almost like God will put that in your path so that whatever you did go through as a child, whenever you didn't get that type of love, whenever you didn't get any of that, guess what? Well, here it is now. Yeah. Here it is now.
I love you, B.
Right.
Love you too, Lena.
I love what you bring to this world. I love your contributions. I love your spirit.
Thank you.
Yes.
I mean, you all right, best friend. You all right.
Shut up. Shut up.
No. But you both are definitely right. No matter what it is that you believe in, you can't be blessed, or if it's the universe, you can't attract certain things unless it's through people. God uses people.
Yes.
Which means you're going to have to open your mouth in order to receive those blessings. So, like you said, you are not alone. You can't think that your story is just yours. And no one has had the same feeling.
Yep.
No, it's not going to may not be the exact same situation, but there could be somebody that can give you a word at the right time, and it could be a God-given word that can help you get through something that you have been struggling with. And,
well,
and
Lena,
you never know.
Not for nothing, right? And so it's funny that you say that because you said it yourself. The person, you are going to class, you are commuting 3 hours, right? And you look well put together, but you are literally going through hell, right? You're going through hell and high water to get whatever it is. And nobody would know that because guess what? Hair done, everything's done. You don't look like what you've been through. Like we always say, you don't look like what you've been through. But can you imagine that? The one thing we do need to stop is stop thinking that the other person is not going through what you're going through or have not gone through what you've gone through. When you say homeless, people will look at you and be like, yeah, right.
What, girl? Please.
People will look at you and be like, nah.
I was couch surfing, girl.
Yes. So it's like, it's just amazing that we definitely need to stop looking at our sisters or looking at our brothers and looking at our, just people in general and thinking that, their world is just A-okay. It's not. And we all need each other.
People out there that want to help you. It's people out there that want, it was so many people that were like, What, girl? Come over here and have dinner. What? Come over, go to so and so house and pick this up. What? You ain't got nowhere to go Thanksgiving, girl. Come on, I'm taking you to my cousin's house.
Wow.
It's people that want to help you and that want to make sure that you're good, but you have to be open and honest about where you are and understand that you're not alone.
Yeah.
I
All
like
right.
that.
We're coming to the end of our show. Number nine. Number nine. Chapter nine. Again, this is from, these are titles from your book. I like to call them affirmations, but these are
Hmm.
titles from your book, Brilliant Resilience, Building Resilience for Success. Chapter nine. I want to make sure because I'm like going through everything here. Chapter nine. I am brilliant.
Yes.
I am
Shine
brilliant.
on, baby. Shine on.
What
Shine.
does that mean for you?
It means that no matter what, for me, and it was a long journey. I tell people I'm on my 10th year of just transition and transformation and growth. For me, no matter what is going on, I am going to wake up and I am going to be grateful. I am going to try my best to put my best foot forward. I'm going to try to shine. And this chapter was written by a young lady who we were messaging back and forth, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, on this day, you blessed me so much. Like the things that you were saying to me, I resonated with, and it really got me out of this dark place." And I realized that I was speaking to her, but I was really speaking to myself because I was in a dark place.
Mm.
You know, I can be in a dark place and still bless somebody. I can be in a dark place and still say, you know what, sis, you're gonna be okay. I can be in a dark place and not pour my negativity on somebody else because I could have been like, well, girl, what I'm going through is blah, blah, blah. But I chose to still give her some light and try to lift her up as the sister that she is. So brilliance is about continuing to shine, and I talk a lot about loving yourself in a supernatural way.
Mm.
Like, love yourself enough to dot, 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 whatever that is for you. Love yourself enough to go ahead and get up in the morning and take a shower and get up and get dressed and put your makeup on and do your hair if that's what you want. Love yourself enough to leave a toxic situation or a toxic job or a toxic, separate, create distance between you and a toxic family member. Love yourself enough to be creative in this time. Love yourself enough to look internally to see what it is you need to change. When you do that and you love yourself in a supernatural way, it's going to automatically radiate.
Mm-hmm.
You are going to automatically shine. You are automatically going to be brilliant, and that love is going to pour out onto other people. So, chapter nine was my discovery of a new level of love for myself during this time. And
Nice.
what it really showed me that I just want to be pure love, and I just want to love and be loved. And like you said, I didn't get a lot of those hugs and kisses and affection and everything. And I had to learn that for myself, like what it meant to love me. And
Right.
when you do that, when you truly do that, everything else will radiate in your life. So that's what chapter nine is about.
Oh my God.
I love
I
every
can't listen.
single.
I can't wait to read this.
I love every single chapter. I believe the sun is supposed to be shining tomorrow. I'm praying my book comes in the mail because I
Yes, I had to check the tracking on that.
yes, because I'm going to lay out in the sun and read, read, read. It's part of my detox week. I said I was going to be reading books, so I'm just hoping it gets here. Tell everybody who's watching and listening right now where they can get your book.
Yeah, so you guys can go right on Amazon, Brilliant Resilience. This is technically the birthday edition. The exclusive birthday edition is pink. So if you go online, the cover is blue. Uh,
Oh,
yeah, so you'll see this book, same cover, but the color will be blue. You can get it on Amazon. It's a really great read, quick read. A lot of the people said they got through it in like a day or a day and a half. It's very conversational. I'd love to get some feedback. Let me know what situations resonate with you, what chapters resonate with you, and what things help you push through. Because that's what this book is all about: is not bouncing back, So moving forward, right? Pressing forward.
Can you also do and I be telling people this all the time, but I will tell you what works for me too. You need to think about doing a journal attached to this. Because you have so many positive affirmations, it will allow the reader.
Man, don't call me out now, B.
No, it enhances it and it allows the reader. It does. It allows the reader to just kind of, while we're going through it, just kind of jot down.
No, I totally agree with you 100%. My first book, Stop, Drop, and Roll, is like that. I have like a couple of young ladies that will come back year after year to the same workshop. And I'm like, sis, I see you every year. And she's like, yeah, but the first year I worked on this. And
yes.
I worked on that. And then I had to go back and then I had to remind myself what you said here. So that was the plan for this because it really is a work through.
Okay. Yes. That's what I get from it.
You may not need transformation, but you may need self-love. You may not need self-awareness, but you may need consciousness. So people will go in and find what works for them and be just for you. I'm going to work on that.
Please.
Yes.
I just think for me, like I said, I'm a writer, a reader, I'm everything. But the fact that these are really positive affirmations that I can do daily, it is something that I can journal about daily that'll actually get me to thinking. Like you said, I might not need persistence right now, but in a month I might need it. You know what I mean?
Right.
I might not need to look at, my level of faith, being faithful or, just having faith with my connection with God. But I don't know what's going to happen to me by the end of the year. I might have to revisit that. So I think that journal definitely
and so one more time, because we are actually 4 minutes into another show that BKS1 Radio is like, you're over time, you gotta go. Tell us one more time how to find you and how to find the book.
Amazon, and I am Lena Cohen Hawkins on all platforms.
Love it.
All right. We love it. We love it every time you bless us with your
yes.
Thank you so much for being here. We are definitely going to be talking about your book as soon as I get it and read it. Trust and believe it will be part of the conversations. I will tag you in the group conversations because you might make that a whole book. We like a book club.
Yeah.
I'll let you know.
All right.
So, for everybody who is watching, for everybody who is listening, thank you guys so much for watching us every single Tuesday from 7 to 8:30. It is BKS1 Radio, the OW show. And Lena, thank you so much for being here with us today. Queen B, thank you so much. And we will see you all soon. Bye, everybody. Love you.
Thank you.
Love you. Love you. Love you.
Thank you, Lena.